All right, welcome. It is Wednesday Roundtable. I'm still getting used to saying that. From the couch, I am Sean, your host, and with me tonight is KD, who had the most excellent birthday ever last Sunday. So before I introduce David, KD, tell us how joyous was this day?
Oh man, for me, it's like I want to put this in PG-13. You know what? Forget it. We're adults. It's your first fresh piece, your first piece. You know, whether it be a gun, whether it be with the girl you've been trying to date for a while, whatever it may be. That's what it felt like. It was reminiscent of that. Not saying the Pittsburgh Steelers or that, but I just heard so much from their fan base via Twitter or Instagram how, hey, this was a trap game for us. You know, you guys have lost 8 of the last 9. Hey, we're big brother. I heard all of it. And look, it didn't matter because at the end of the day, you still got to play the game.
Well, your Ravens did an excellent job. And now we're going to bring in David. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. It was a great Sunday, and I am definitely looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be some exciting football.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that. And before I even got here, I was logged on, and I could hear what the gentlemen were saying, and I totally agree with their sentiment. I will say that I heard David's butthole pucker in the first 2.5 minutes of the Bills game. And I was just like, whoa. And, you know, we live 20 miles apart, but I could hear that happen when Denver went straight down and scored that touchdown.
Listen, you know, Sean, like I said, and again, my thing is, no matter what, you're in the playoffs, it doesn't matter your team, it doesn't matter that you always have a sense of worry. I mean, because again, it's the playoffs. Whether you're the first seed or the 7th seed, you're in each conference, you're the top 7 teams in that conference to have the opportunity. So I never go into a playoff game overconfident or whatever. But I will say, and you can all attest to this, for the last 2 months, I, more so than anybody, have been talking about Denver as a sneaky good team. So, you know, the fact that they went down and scored, it was great for them, because if Buffalo hadn't made the playoffs and Denver did, Denver would have been the team I would have been rooting for, honestly. I really like Bo Nix. I like what Sean Payton's doing. Their defense is phenomenal. So did my butt pucker? It didn't pucker, but it wasn't unexpected that I didn't think – I thought they would have made a better game of it than they did, let's put it that way. So, you know, I expected Denver to come out strong. I didn't expect them to just roll over and play dead.
Well, as far as playoff games and, you know, just always going in with worry. I
mean, I don't know what you're – I mean, I know you're not familiar with that concept. So
I haven't
make the playoffs
since I was a young lad. So,
Playoffs?
Okay.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
Who's called these press conferences?
Yeah. Hey, you know, the last time the Jets made the playoffs, Sean had to walk to school barefoot in the snow, uphill both ways.
Yes, that is true. And, you know, I turned 54 today. So there you go.
There you go.
All right. So real quick, we'll talk about a couple things that happened this week. McCarthy is no longer with the Cowboys. shocked face. You know, I think everyone could have seen it was happening.
Go ahead,
So
Jake. I didn't see that.
I don't like it. Here's the reason why I don't like it. I got the whole Sean McCarthy piece, but there are positional coaches that are in the wings. They're hanging in the wings because you haven't told the head guy he's gone yet. So head coach, I can care less about because he's on the hook for his $40-50 million or whatever it is. But we're talking about the linebacker coach, the D-line coach, the defensive back coach, the wide receiver coach, the player personnel, or whoever it is. Some of those people are not going to be retained, and they don't have the $10 million that they can. Hey, okay, we can do what we need to do, and I don't have to move my family or tell my family where we're going next or whatever it may be. I just didn't like that particular piece of it. At least if you would have said it a little bit sooner, he could have got the ball rolling a little bit sooner than what it is. Because luckily, he's still going to get some of the interviews and whatnot. But again, for those positional coaches, it's just not a good look because those guys could have probably went out and found them a job before he got let go. So,
yeah,
I think there's a lot of time. Those position coaches they'll find something. Between you, me, and Lamppost, I think Jerry's kind of settled in on. My big question is, of course, everyone's Dion makes the most sense. Doesn't make any sense to the rational person, but it makes the most sense because Jerry's been done for a while. David?
I'm just going to say the only way Deion Sanders were ever to coach the Cowboys is if Shedeur Sanders was drafted by the Cowboys, and that's not happening whatsoever. I think that's the only way you're going to get a Deion Sanders to Dallas. I think that the saddest part about the Dallas situation is any coach who goes there, okay, has to deal with Jerry Jones. And him being the general manager, him calling the shots, it's just it's not a very from the mystique of the Cowboys and the exposure of the Cowboys, that's great. But the fact is you're set up for failure as a head coach to begin with because you don't have the ability to control the personnel that you're getting. You don't have the ability to do certain things that other franchises allow their coaches and general managers to do. And so to me, while it's an appealing job from a focal point of the NFL, I don't think it's an appealing job for success in the NFL, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas was America's team until about 2006, 2007. Maybe a little bit longer because of Romo, but they've kind of gone to obscurity. But still, it's the Dallas Cowboys, and people who are Cowboy fans will always be Cowboy fans. Vrabel going to New England. Duh. I mean, I don't like the way they did Gerard Mayo. But I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, like I said last week, after they fired Gerard Mayo, the minute that they interviewed Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton, I knew Mike Vrabel was going to be the head coach. So, I mean, that was the most unkept secret in the NFL. As soon as Gerard Mayo was fired, I knew where Vrabel was going. So,
yeah, you know.
My whole thing is, let's not bring back some of the old guard because I'm just being honest. That team is not outfitted like the teams were of old. You need to basically try and go and get the same type of players, and they just don't have it right now. Now they do have assets, which are great, but everybody knows, hey, you need a master orchestrator at the quarterback position. You need that, and then you need some weapons to go along with it. So unless you're prepared to go get a T. Higgins or something like that in the in the free agency next or some of that nature, I don't see where they're going to go thus far. You, you still need additional support in the running back room, and you got to get some depth on the offensive line.
Mhm.
And by the way, you still got to hold together your young defense that you have. So,
yeah, I don't. With a guy like Brad, I'm thinking of the Buffalo Sabres because I was watching them. I was going to say Brad May, Drake May. I don't know if Vrabel's the right coach to coach him to get the best out of him. And again, I can understand going to somebody who has had a level of success in the NFL as opposed to the unknown, the hotshot offensive coordinator or whatever. But again, when you're dealing with the young quarterback, I guess for me, I'd rather have a young coach, a good offensive mind, a guy who's going to be able to work with a young quarterback like a Drake May to get the best out of them, as opposed to, like you said, going through the retreaded coaches over and over again. Maybe a Vrabel might have worked good in Dallas because, again, you're dealing with older veterans like a Dak Prescott. You got you got CeeDee Lamb. You got your established people. So maybe a Vrabel in Dallas might have made more sense from that standpoint. But when you're dealing with young folks.
I will tell you something that Paul is putting in the chat. I would have loved to see him with not Minnesota, but New Orleans. Because they have some good defensive pieces there. Even with the loss of Lattimore, I still like what they have with Alontae Taylor and company. If they would have got somebody like that, especially having Mario Davis back there, I think they could have done some stuff. I'm not saying they're going to be a 13-win team, but I think some of the stuff that they have in play already would have been good for Vrabel coming in. Now, again, offensively, that's what's going to matter. Who is going to be the offensive coordinator? So,
true.
We're going to shift gears here a little bit, and this has been the talk after Sundays and Mondays games. Sam Darnold. Do you keep him? Do you let him go? I mean, honestly, the only reason why I would say you keep him is because the last two games he had such a poor showing that you don't have to pay him that crazy money. If you tell him, hey, we're going to pay you $20 million a year, he's going to take it, because I don't think there's anyone in the league who's going to be going, hey, we need to get this guy, and he's going to put us over the hump.
No, I tend to agree with you, but I do have to say, looking at the Minnesota Vikings season, and they had a great season. What they were 14-3. The fact is, when you look at what happened, if you look at the Vikings schedule, and week 7 and 8, Sam Darnold and Minnesota got shellacked back-to-back weeks. Weeks 18 and 19, they got shellacked back-to-back weeks. But more importantly, as bad as that was, I look at that game, and I can't put that solely on Sam Darnold. That offensive line was god-awful. I mean, and take nothing away. The Rams' young defensive line is fantastic. Jared Verse and all those guys, they were all over him. But he had, if you watch that, he had absolutely like 0.5 seconds to set in the pocket and throw. I mean, there were a couple times that he held onto the ball, scrambled around, and didn't get rid of it like he should have. But that being said, even the defensive backs, they were locking down Justin Jefferson. What's his name? Jordan Addison missed a couple passes right out of his hands. Even the touchdown reception by TJ Hawkinson, if you looked at that, he had to reach behind him, and that's how he escaped the defender, because the defender was actually going for the interception behind him, and he just scooped up the ball and ran past him. So, I mean, all day long, the Rams were giving him fits.
And it's of his own demise, though, because again, when you stand there your drop, your one of any steps that you're taking is straight back, and you just stand there. That's what you're subject to. As he's seen some of the throws he did get off, he started to escape to the left or to the right. And I didn't know why the Rams didn't just say, hey, look, all right, let's pull a guy to basically reset the pocket for him and be his personal guardian until he can develop a pass down the field. Because again, the launch point to where he was staying, it was two guys there almost every time. And it was like, hey, he tried to step up. And again, it was like the pressure coming from the A gap, they were just kind of waiting on him for the step up. And then that's when they'll make their move. And he just kind of like get cradled right there to two guys. And I know his psyche was definitely messed up. Like to the point where like he was not keeping his arm, his head and eyes up down the field. To the point where Justin Jefferson was running wide open on a couple of plays because he didn't keep his head and eyes down the field because, again, he was worried about getting hit in the face.
Absolutely. To the question.
Was he seeing ghosts? Question. Was he seeing ghosts?
I don't think he had enough time to see ghosts.
Look, listen, the ghosts were in his damn face mask. Like the ghosts were just sitting there chilling on his face mask like, hey, what's up? How you doing?
Now, Anthony, to your question, would I trade J.J. McCarthy to the Rams? I trade J.J. McCarthy to the highest bidder. Okay, I don't care what team it is. If I'm a team looking for a young quarterback, and if I'm the Vikings, do I take the best offer available? Probably, but with a caveat to J.J. McCarthy. With this injury, I don't know how far along he is. I don't know what his prognosis is for the start of the season. But I wouldn't be opposed to him sitting behind a quarterback for a little bit. But also, again, the problem comes into with the fact that despite his injury, it is a win now league, and it is a pay the quarterback sooner than later league. So if I'm trading him, it's going to be to a team that needs a quarterback, wants a quarterback, and who is ready to start him as a quarterback, because that team that's getting him is already 1 year behind the 8 ball to find out what they have in him as a quarterback. So, he's going to have to go somewhere where he's going to have to play right away. I don't think you sit him behind a Matthew Stafford because you'll be wasting 2 years of his development. And within the next 2 years, you're going to have to figure out his worth and if you're going to pay him. So, go ahead, Katie.
I don't know if he's developed yet. That's my hope. Like I understand we want to get these young, hot, off the press quarterbacks. However, we don't know how they're going to respond to adversity. We don't know how they're going to respond when they go to their division rival stadium and they lay a goose egg. And then, oh yeah, by the way, I got rid of my savvy veteran for you, and then it doesn't work out in game 8 or 9. Now we're stuck with poo-poo on our face, and now we got to try and salvage the season. I don't get the whole, hey, let me dump the veteran away and go for the rookie that's unproven. Because none against McCarthy, but how many games did he win at Michigan himself?
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I get it. And like I said,
that's the question you got to ask, because he had guys on his team to go out and help and make things easier for him. I'm not knocking him for that. When I'm sitting there saying, hey, we need a drive. Can you put together this drive systematically and go down and win us the game?
Well, and he did it against Ohio State. He did against Ohio State.
Yeah. But again, KD, and to my point, I don't think if McCarthy's going to be a guy that's subject to trade rumors and trade requests. Again,
would he be the number 1 pick of the draft this year if he was?
Well, I think that you're trading him to a team that's going to put him in, because I think the only way he's going to develop is to play him, because and like I say, because he already had that 1 year miss because of the injury. I don't think you can afford to have him sit another year based on what the NFL has become in terms of having to pay these guys this kind of money.
Oh, if he goes to the Rams, he's definitely sitting. And I would like to have the best possible teacher in Sean McVay.
Oh, sure.
Like,
sure.
but then again, what does that do for McCarthy? In 2 years, he's gonna have him play 6 games, if that, or probably not even that.
Yeah.
So what is that going to do for him psychologically? Is he going to sit there and say, hey, you know what? Jordan Love has done this type of thing before. I think I can kind of do it too. So.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to last weekend's games. So real quick, throwing it up there. This is where it was. Jeff was 4-2. David 5-1. KD 4-2. Eric was 3-3. Eric, you can't win for losing. Just, you know what? Read the other half of the script, and then you'll be 6-0. I was 4-2, and Hot Pockets was 4-2. Hot Pockets still a game ahead of me. Couple games to go, not many, but enough so I can get in there. And so, no, that's the wrong one. So here we go. Katie made up these slides, and they were awesome, except there were too many megabytes, so we had to divide it up into 2. There's a lot of people in there. And even people who weren't in the playoffs are in there. Oh, no. Oh, that's Saquon. I thought that was Tua there. It freaked me out a little bit. Okay, so there's a lot of people throwing balls in this picture.
Hey, I'm old, but I ain't that old, Sean. Damn.
Yeah, well,
Tua.
You're getting there. Look at that beard, man. All right, so we had Chargers Houston. This was a game that we all missed on except for KD. Houston, wow. They came out and they looked serious. And do I think that's sustainable? No. But hell of a game. KD?
I knew this is what troubled me about the Chargers. The lack of the run game to help Herbert or ease the pressure off of Herbert mattered. It mattered a lot. And I didn't see the easing of that going into the playoffs. I seen him, not so much as struggling, but it wasn't games that was like, hey, okay, he was taking over. So this particular time, it was like, all right, okay, we're going to kind of limit you on what you can do when it comes down to your run game. And then we're going to live with our back 4 or 5. And we think we match up well with y'all. As long as we limit what Lad McConkey can do, and they still didn't limit him. If we can limit his big playability, we would be fine because they knew, hey, I can take care of Quentin Johnston. I can take care of Palmer. None of these other guys are big threats to us. And that's what they kind of did. And they got after the quarterback. Once they got after him, his time was sped up the entire rest of the game after that first drive. And I was just like, you know what? It's not good. And once Houston got their little run game going too, I just knew. I was like, you know what? It's the floodgate.
And Herbert threw more interceptions in this one game than he did all season.
Yep, absolutely.
David?
No, and like I said, Katie, when I was going over this game, I mean, I was tempted to take Houston. I did obviously take the Chargers, but the one thing that I had, in the favor of Houston, I said, the week before, you went out and you saw Quentin Johnson catch 12, 13 passes, whatever it was. The problem is that was his best game ever as a pro. I think he had 12 receptions all year. No, I'm just kidding, but you know what I mean. In terms of the biggest problem that I saw with Los Angeles was all Houston really had to do. If you took away the running game, there was nothing that frightened them in the back. Like you said, Houston's backfield defensive backs matched up well. McConkey's going to get his catches, but that one guy is not going to beat you. And so you take away that run game and you leave, Justin Herbert back there. You're going to force him into mistakes because you have Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson on the opposite side coming in on him. So you're putting a lot of pressure on your offensive line to, number one, create a running game, and number two, keep those two ends off your quarterback. And you don't really have the playmaker. So obviously this is something that in the offseason the Chargers will have to address. Go out and get another maybe outside playmaker at the wide receiver position to help take the pressure off of the running game and give Justin Herbert, who is a good quarterback, more options and more ability to do things. So, but no, it was a shock to me that they lost the way they did. But again, I didn't see that offensive outburst coming from Houston at all, especially against the Chargers from a defensive.
You remember pre-draft when I said something? I want you to tell me if I was right or wrong. Remember when I told you they should take Brock Bowers with their first pick and then double back and get a wide receiver?
Absolutely.
Just imagine if they had him right now with Matt McConkey.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah, Brock Bowers is a beast. Good call, Katie.
Who did they end up? They took Will Clapp, right?
No, the lineman.
Oh, Joe Alt. Well, that's what I meant. Joe Alt. Will Clapp was a free agent that Buffalo signed. I'm sorry, but yeah, they took Joe Alt. Yeah, they could have taken Brock Bowers. That would have been because they still could have got McConkey in the second round, which they did anyway.
All right. And I will say the Chargers are the only team that early in the season we put in the Cancun room who came out. And that was impressive to me because we slammed the door on them pretty hard. I think it was week 5. Like they were 1-4. They were just not good. And then they came out. Okay. So then the second, okay.
Okay.
Just go ahead, Katie.
Let me just say this before Katie.
No, I want you guys to go first. I want y'all to go first.
I'll go first real quick. This is the only thing I really have to say about this game. The score of this game was not even close to being indicative to the ass whooping that Baltimore put on Pittsburgh in terms of just all around play. I mean, and again, this is not Pittsburgh hate. This is just understanding their shortcomings. And the fact that Russell Wilson, George Pickens had a decent game, but the fact that they didn't even target him until the second half was unbelievable to me. When you're a team that ends up with a total of 29 yards rushing in the entire game, and you don't target your number one wide receiver until the second half, that is malpractice as an offensive coordinator. When you have to try to do things to you had an offense and you had a team in Baltimore that was just churning up the yards on the ground and doing this. You didn't have to have Lamar Jackson be, 250, 300 yards passing. You're churning up these yards on the ground. You're not getting any yards on the ground, and you're not throwing to your number one receiver. It's just baffling to me. And, I've heard talk of Arthur Smith being a genius. The guy's an idiot. I mean, you just don't. That's malpractice. You have to get your number one receiver involved. You have to come out knowing that this Baltimore Ravens team is a team capable. The score could have been 40 or 56-14. They're capable of doing that. They're capable of putting points on the board. You have to hit them quick, and make them become the one-dimensional team, not the other way around. And just poor game plan.
Okay, this game took all of one play for me to know how it was going to go. The very first offensive play by the Pittsburgh Steelers was an easy out to Fairmouth, wide open, 8 yards deep. Perfect play. Boom. Catch it. Get the first down. Okay. He was no one around him. He fucking dropped it. And right then and there, it's just like, oh, shit. here we go. And this was, it honestly reminded me of the worst insult I could give a team. It reminded me of the New York Jets. Go ahead, Katie.
So for me, this is the issue I have with how Pittsburgh played. Pittsburgh didn't do anything they normally do defensively or offensively. Defensively, normally they can control your run game or shut it down. They did not do any of that. When it came down to it, Baltimore got so comfortable where they ran 13 run plays in a row. That's absurd. Like that doesn't happen, especially in the AFC North defenses. It does not happen. A team just say, "Hey, you know what? Stop us." And I was just like, you know what? Something is going on. They're not ready to play. They didn't look like they was ready to play the entire night. And I don't know. I don't know if it's a Tomlin thing. I don't know if it's some injuries. I don't know if it's some rumblings they hearing from the media or whatever it may be. But for me, I thought it was going to be a tougher game than what it ended up being. Yeah, the score is 2 touchdowns. I take that score for paper value. The thing that took me back was no fight whatsoever, offensively or defensively. It was just like, all right, man, y'all got us. Cool, we good. Thank y'all for allowing us in the playoffs. And it's almost to the point to it's like they dug in and they were satisfied with getting 10 wins or captivating. Hey, we got a winning season and we're good. We're good with that. And as for Baltimore, I love the game plan. Love the game plan. They didn't try and overdo it. Hey, we don't have to, give out some secret sauce to come do anything we need to do here tonight. Come here and win the game. If you can stop us, good. If not, we okay. We can adjust and so forth. The defense for Baltimore, man, I can't speak on them enough when it comes down to stopping the Pittsburgh Steelers from getting anything going. The defensive line did what they needed to do. Everybody kind of handled their business. I didn't like the pass plays we was giving up because I feel like we let them off the hook. We kind of relaxed, and I didn't want us to relax. If we could have left them at 0, I would have been good with leaving them at 0 because, again, I want you to not play down to your opponent. Hey, all right, man, they kind of let up. Nope. Foot to throat, boot up your ass. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
Now, I just want to say one thing about this game. Oh, hi, Sean. You put me by myself.
I did.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm trying to figure out what the hell this has got to be. Oh, there you go. I got it.
There you go. But no, the one thing I will say, and I'm not making no excuses for any team, but I will say that according to what people were talking about, obviously, there was a flu bug going around in Pittsburgh. I mean, Patrick Queen had to have 4 IVs before the game. So again, and it's not an excuse, because again, like you said, Sean, Katie, you have to come out and you have to be ready, and you gotta, and for an AFC North battle like this, it was so atypical of what I would have called an AFC North battle. Like there was, these two teams, regardless of who's better or who has more talent or who has more this or that, when these games are played, somebody's going to come out and they're going to feel that they played their division rival. And in this game, I just didn't see that type of fight. You know what I mean? I didn't see that type of physicality from the Pittsburgh Steelers side. And, again, not taking anything away from Pittsburgh, it just was what it was. And, again, I do think the better team won this game, obviously, and I think they proved that they're a great team. So,
Well, there you go. All right, we're going to move on to the next game. The one thing I will say about this game is I like Kirk Herbstreit calling the games. I really he's all right. I mean, as far as announcers go, especially Colorman, I think he's better than Brady. Anyway, that being said, so then we got this game. This was not much of a contest. Broncos got the ball, went right down, scored a touchdown. Then it was all over. It was all Bills.
Go ahead, you guys talk. I'll say what I have to say.
I have nothing to say about this game.
I mean, offensively, you can see that the Bills, I mean, not the Bills, but the Broncos are just not there just yet. Other than some plays to some of the receivers and stuff like that, their run game got to get better, got to be a compliment to Bo Nix, because they knew, like, hey, look, getting the Bo Nix, doing what we need to do, we would be fine. And I just felt like the Broncos are not completely complementary to what Bo Nix can do when it comes down to the run game and so forth. And you got to give him some more layup throws. I got it. The kid got a cannon. He can throw it. But a layup throw never hurt any quarterback when it comes down to slowing the game down for him or taking what the defense is giving him. So,
yeah, go ahead, Sean. You don't have anything to say? Okay, I'll say this. The one thing that was a little bit of typical about Denver was some of the guys that were coming through in the clutch for Denver offensively, the rookie wide receiver, what is it, Vale or whatever. He had a couple drops that could have been important at the time that they had him. But the one thing that concerned me about this game, which again I attribute to Denver and their defense, is Buffalo was 1 for 4 in the red zone, which is not a good look for Buffalo. Buffalo's usually a very good red zone offense in terms of scoring touchdowns. That concerned me. Just because, again, you know, when you watch the Bills, you're used to the Bills. If they get inside the 20-yard line, I think they were like maybe 57%, somewhere along that area, between 52 and 57% touchdown. Touchdown ratio in the red zone. So to go 1 for 4 in the red zone, that concerns me, especially going into a game against the Baltimore Ravens team. When you get down there, you want to come out with 7, not 3. Other than that, I thought this game went how it goes. It was a typical Buffalo game. It's close in the first half, and then they just methodically put points on the board. Nothing flashy, nothing like these sensational catches and blah, blah, blah. I know they had the 55-yard touchdown pass to Curtis Samuel, but it's just a methodical way that they continue to just deal with opponents. You know, you're spreading the ball out to 5 different wide receivers, 7 different wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. There's not that one guy who's going to have, 14 catches for 220 yards. It's all spread out. And again, I think that makes it tough for defenses to really key in on any one particular player. The fact that James Cook had a great day, 120 yards, was just, again, consistent throughout. And they were able to put up that type of rushing numbers on a Broncos defense that was 3rd in the league against the rush. I think 97 yards a game they gave up rushing as a team. And for Buffalo to put up 210 rushing yards, it was an impressive win.
All right. Katie, real quick before we move on, above the Broncos player and above the Bills player, Broncos has the number 7 and the Bills has a 31. What the fuck's that mean?
That's the score.
So the scores.
Oh, okay. There you go. I'm like, look at it. I'm like, what the fuck are these numbers? It's like, I don't even remember.
That's their draft position, Sean.
Hey, look, I don't.
I'm so sick. I don't remember the goddamn scores of the games. I don't remember anything.
Hey, I don't pride myself on being the smartest guy, but I am a common sense type of person.
All right. Well, hey, there you go. because it made
Yeah, if
no
you go
sense.
back and look at all the slides previous, they had numbers up on the top, and those were the scores.
I was looking at it, but I'm like, what the hell do these numbers mean? Dude,
Hey, we don't pay this guy to be host of Big Bucks for nothing.
I was so
He's the
delirious
Bob Uecker of
this
podcasts.
weekend with sickness. You don't want to deal with it. Okay, so anyway, let's
John,
go.
22-10.
Okay, I got it now. Packers and the Eagles. This was a good game. Honestly, the Eagles they're scaring me just a little bit because I thought they should have won this game by a lot more than they did because Packers were giving the ball away the first half. So even though I'm delirious and I remember the fucking score, I remember what the hell happened. So anyway, and Jordan Love let me down a little bit, but that's okay because I picked Philly, and so did we all. That was one of the 3 of the games that went according to script. Okay, let's talk for Paoli's sake. He's our, one of our religious fans. Unfortunately, was it Paul who's the Green Bay fan?
No, it's Jay Sterrett.
Oh, Sterrett. Oh, yes.
Well, you got a few in the group, but Jay Sterrett is the most common one that comes on.
Paul's a Saints fan. He don't have no dog in this hunt.
All right, Paul, you and me will commiserate, and I'll meet you down in at Mardi Gras for some bourbons.
Well, I don't know if you want to go down there right now. Kind of wait for a little bit.
Well, I don't think anything's happening right now.
I mean, I'll tell you, this game is another score that was not indicative of the defensive domination that Philadelphia displayed. I mean, it was impressive. Jordan Love, that interception that Darius Slay got.
My God.
You couldn't have put a ball in a better spot. I mean, he didn't even have to move his arms. He just kind of sat there and the ball fell right into it. I mean, but he
saw it. I think he just turned around and went like this, and it was in his hands.
He had beautiful coverage. I mean, that was an impressive play. I mean, he was running stride for stride with the receiver, and the receiver didn't even try to come back. He didn't even try to.
I mean, this is what I don't like. This is what I don't like. Some of the stuff the Packers do because they watch them throw interception or overthrow time and time again, and you didn't say, "Hey, look, all right, let's stop doing this. Let's start making sure you're checking the ball down." Here's the reason why. There were times to where they would have numbers on the outside because Philly, hats off to Philly, understanding in the assignment. Philly knew, hey, okay, look, this guy wants the big play. He's not going to mess with the short underneath stuff. So what Philly was doing is, hey, we're going to go man on the outside, and you guys take anything on the out route. If there's any kind of out route, you guys take that, right? We don't care about the screen pass. Unless you throw it, we don't really care too much about it. And there was times to where there was the receiver and the running back right there for a modified screen, if you will, and only one Philly defender. And time again, this kid just did not throw the ball there. He wanted the big play. He fell in love with it, trying to get the big play, and that's not how you're going to beat Philly. Philly, you're not going to beat them trying to throw 50-50 balls. You're just not. Because you basically play right into their hand. The other part about it is you got to commit more to 8, man. You got to give, if that's your bell cow, you got to let him do his due diligence to where now you can start to change up some of this pass rush that's coming in his face. And again, I just felt like offensively they didn't come together and say, hey, look, all right, Jordan Love, we don't need you to win us the game. However, we don't need you to take us out of it either. Because he essentially took the team out of the game. No, and it's bad because they had just as good a defense as Philly in the first half.
Yeah.
And it was just like, there's nothing to show for it. 3-10, it's just like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they don't use Josh Jacobs in the pass game more. I mean, he's a good pass-catching running back, and they should have done that it would have kept Philadelphia's defense at least somewhat honest. And because you're right, when Jordan Love goes back and drops back, his eyes are down. He wants to make a 40-yard pass play every time. He doesn't want to settle for underneath stuff. He wants to make the big play. And there are two things that you have to consider about Philadelphia. Number one, you want to keep the ball out of the hands of the Philadelphia offense. No, and not because they're just this big strike playability team, which they are, but when you got like a Saquon Barkley who can run the ball, you got the two wide receivers in Brown and Smith who can catch the ball extremely well. And again, A.J. Brown didn't have a great game. He was busy reading his book on the sideline. But, you got Dallas Goedert. I mean, you have weapons on that offense. You want to control the ball, march the ball down the field, and do those things that limit the other team's offensive ability to be on the field and make those kind of plays. I mean, you look at the end of the game. I mean, Saquon Barkley could have ran 60 yards for a touchdown, and he slid 25 yards down the field because that's how explosive. Yep, and that's just how explosive their team is, though. And so, I just think they came out with the wrong game plan. They came out with the wrong mindset. It should have been control the ball, control the clock. If you have to check it down, make sure you're keeping that defensive line and that defensive Phillies honest. So when you do decide to take that chance down the field, Jordan Love as the quarterback has the time in the pocket. When you don't establish anything to keep those linebackers off and that front four from coming in, you're a sitting duck. And it was just bad, a bad game plan all around. But Philly played great defensively. It was a master class on defense in Philly's.
All right. So then our next game was Commanders at Tampa Bay, which I thought was a very good game. Kind of broke my heart a little bit because I was going for the Buccaneers. Almost said the Panthers. Jesus, made me get sick again. But the Washington goes for it, doesn't get it on fourth down. And I'm like, you idiot. And then Tampa Bay fumbles. They get the ball right back. And then a fourth and goal, a fourth down again, they go for it. I'm like, you idiot. He was driving me crazy. I was like ready to Dan Quinn. Not Dan Quinn. Yeah, Dan Quinn. Driving me nuts. But a good game all around. Happy to see Jaden Daniels win that game as a rookie. First ever rookie-to-rookie pass for a touchdown in the playoffs. That was nothing that anyone really cared about.
No, that was the Bills-Broncos game.
Oh, that was Bo Nix. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was a good game. Any thoughts or discussion on this one?
I just say this went exactly how I said it. The last 3 weeks, Jaden Daniels leads his team down on a comeback when they were either losing or tied. I saw this game coming a mile away because there was nothing that was scary enough on Tampa from a defensive point of view that I didn't think Jaden Daniels couldn't do what he did the 3 weeks previous. He's been playing with a lot of confidence. That team never feels like they're out of it, even if they have the ball within 2 minutes and they're down. And it's a testament to Jaden Daniels as a rookie and to the coaching staff of Washington that they put that much faith in him, and he has that faith in himself, and the team does. And so, yeah, I mean, this game came down to exactly what I thought it was going to be. And I said that last week when I picked this game. It's going to be a last-minute scoring drive that Jaden Daniels would lead Tampa or lead Washington over Tampa.
Yep. You and Pale, you're the only ones who picked Washington. KD.
This game was right for the taking. If we don't have that blunder coming out of the end zone, the game is played out the way they wanted to play out. I just felt like the Bucks offensively and at times defensively was struggling to get going. And to the point to where Jaden Daniel was neutralizing anything they were trying to bring after him. But then also I think Baker Mayfield kind of took it over when he ran over what's his name, Wagner. I think that kind of sparked him. That sparked the offense. Like, hey, look, we can do this. We know for sure we can do it. I just think again, you got to kind of slow the game down a little bit for Baker and say, hey, look, if I'm going to ride my rookie Irvin, I'll do that. Him and White, I'll let them guys do what they need to do and take some of the pressure off Baker. Because again, to me, it seemed like Baker was trying to one up what Jaden Daniel was doing. Hey, look, I'm not going to let this guy come out here and show me up. Instead of saying, hey, look, let's play methodical. We have Mike Evans all night long. God, Mike Evans was smacking Marshawn Lattimore. I'm talking about like, oh, Lord, he was giving it to him. And I just felt like you didn't expose that matchup enough. Like, as much as it was exposed, I just felt like you should have kept going to the well as often as you could, along with keeping the run game abreast, because you never knew when you were going to need it. Case in point, when they got down and they needed it, and they couldn't get the handoff right. So,
but this was one of those games, KD and Sean, that I will say that I think this was one of the few games this year for Tampa Bay that Chris Godwin being out of the lineup really hurt them. They really could have used a guy like Chris Godwin, especially underneath. It probably would have loosened up that defense a little more and maybe allowed for more plays in the running game to open up. And so this is really where you notice Chris Godwin not being in that lineup and how that injury that he got earlier in the year really hurt the Bucks.
All right, so let's go on to our final game. This one we've already kind of talked about, so let's cut the minutia down quite a bit, and let's just give a quick 30-second synopsis of this game.
I'll do mine real quick. This
Please.
game changed. This game changed when they called that a pass. That Matt Stafford. That was ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous thing. If I'm an offensive player, if I'm an offensive coordinator from now on, I keep a running back in the backfield to block. And if I'm going to get sacked, I just throw it at his feet. I just do this and say it's a pass. Don't take a sack. Don't lose yardage. It's not a fumble. You can just go like this and say, I was throwing it to him. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's the worst freaking call I've ever seen. That's like worse than the tuck rule.
All righty, KD.
Look, I'm disappointed in the offensive plan. With the Vikings, like I just didn't like anything they were trying to do.
You don't have an offense.
that too, because it just, you see Addison and Jefferson trying their damnedest, but it's just their quarterback is so out in left field with a hockey stick saying throw me the ball. So again, I didn't like it. So, but it is what it is. Hats off to the Rams having a good defensive game plan. So it is what it is.
Was just yes or no, was this a surprise to anyone that Minnesota performed so poorly? Okay.
I think it was, that they performed poorly. Not a surprise they lost, just a surprise that they performed poorly.
All righty. So here we go. This is this week's, and I want to get I want to do this quickly because I got things going on at home here. So you guys can continue to talk after I get off, but I kind of want to go through these real quick, get picks, and then I'm going to bust off. So this is this week's matchups. Not the order I would like them in, but they're the order that they are in. Texans versus Chiefs. I don't see the Texans doing any better than they did a couple weeks ago against the Chiefs. Dome team warm, open stadium cold. I have the Chiefs in this game. I think they should win it handily. KD, your thoughts?
Unless the Texans can get their run game going, I'm going with the Chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah, I look at this. I mean, the only thing that concerns me is I know the Chiefs are good coming off bye weeks, but you've had Patrick Mahomes sitting on a bench for 2 weeks, and you have a team that just played and played well against the defense that is a good defense. They have confidence, and if they can get rolling early, and the Chiefs' offense comes out stagnant, it is hard to just turn that on. The Chiefs will win this game, but it's going to be a lot closer than people think. And they really have a shot of losing just because I don't think sitting for 2 weeks is a good plan for anybody. So I'm going to take the Chiefs by 2 points because it's going to be that close.
All righty. What are those dashes up the top above their heads?
The game hadn't.
That's a hyphen. Hyphen divisional match number 1 hyphen.
Oh my God,
He couldn't put
David,
in quotes.
you broke my hyphen. This is
Hey, if I would have put scores up there, a certain panel member that's not here would have said it was part of the script.
Yeah.
We should have had him put the scores up there. All right, so next game, Commanders at the Lions. KD.
As much as I love what Daniels has done, I think the luck runs out here. I think the Lions just got too much offensively to where they can just say, "Hey, look, we're not going to play as much defense. We want you in the shootout. Let's see if you're going to hang with our high-power offense." So I got the Lions in this one.
David.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Lions. The Commanders' season is going to come to an end, but they're going to make a game out of it. But it'll come to an end.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see this going any other way but the Lions, even though they have been sitting for a couple
and
weeks.
And they get Montgomery back this week too. So
yeah. And the thing is, this could come down to, think about this. They both like to go for it on 4th down. We can get the kickoff, and then someone goes for it on 4th down. The other team gets it, and then they get 9 yards, and they go for a 4th down and don't make it. The other team gets it 9 yards, 4th down. It could happen.
This could be a no punt game, and
it could be. It could be a game played within 11 yards. So, Okay. So next, David, we got the Rams at Philadelphia.
Well, the Eagles went into Los Angeles and Saquon Barkley had 350 yards of total offense against them. Now they're going into Philly. Philly's defense is playing good. The Rams' defense is playing good. But they're outside, not in the dome. I'm going to take Philly, but Jalen Hurts better get on his P's and Q's. Otherwise, this could be a long game for Philly. He's got to perform better than he did last week because I think they're going to come in to stop the run. And Jalen Hurts better get on his game.
In the event that Washington beats Detroit, Philadelphia goes to Super Bowl. If that doesn't happen, Philadelphia wins their last game of the year right here, and they will win. Either way, Philly's going to win. I'm going with Philly. KD?
Yeah, I'm going with Philly because I know they took note of what happened last week, them beating the Vikings, and I think the Rams are not going to sneak up on them like they did the Vikings. Also, I just don't see Philly imploding like that on offense when it comes down to the turnover. So I got Philly in this one.
All right. And the last game, then I'm going to rewind these. If you guys want to keep talking, you can. I'm sorry. I got to kind of get dinner ready and everything going here. This is going to be, wow. It is not.
This is the game of the year.
It is not. It is not. It is one of the games of the year. But if it comes down to in the Super Bowl, KC Detroit would be huge. If it was KC Baltimore in the final, well, either KC and Baltimore or KC and Buffalo for the championship, AFC championship, that's going to be a better game than this one. This one is huge. I mean, these two teams are going to beat the shit out of each other. Given that, David, where you going?
Let's see. This is so tough. It's going to be cold. It's going to be snow, and it's in Buffalo. I know the Baltimore Ravens play in weather, obviously. If Buffalo, man, Buffalo has to contain Derrick Henry. What Buffalo has to do, Buffalo has to come out and they have to, if they win the coin toss, they have to take the ball. They have to take the ball because they have to go down the field and they have to score. They have to get up on Baltimore, and then they have to keep up on Baltimore, and they have to make Baltimore more one-dimensional to come back. If they let Baltimore continue to run and do those things and not have to have Lamar Jackson just beat them, this game is going to be close and it could get ugly. But because there's Buffalo, because it's snow, and because I think Josh Allen is better equipped to handle the weather with his receivers and everything else, this is a 3-point game, and I'm going to pick Buffalo. You knew I was going to pick them. Everybody knows I'm going to pick them. But this game is really – it is such a close game. I don't care about the 35-10 game or 31-10, whatever the hell it was. This is going to be a great game. And Buffalo wins by a field goal.
I am going to say that Buffalo is going to win this game, and it won't be by a field goal. It'll be by 4 points because it comes down to a field goal. We all know where that son of a bitch is going. Right, David?
Yeah.
Where's it going?
Well,
say it.
Unfortunately, no. Because
say it.
Unfortunately,
say it.
Both these kickers this year, even though Justin Tucker is like the league, neither one of these.
If it comes down to a field goal, where's it going, David?
If it's Buffalo, it's going straight down the middle.
Shit. Just say it.
I ain't gonna say it.
You gotta say it.
I am not.
Oh boy, oh boy. You know what? Paley, just give me a great idea. Bullshit. bullshit. That shit's going wide right if it comes down to a field goal. All right. So anyway, I'm going with Buffalo because they're at home. And yes, Baltimore is used to playing in the weather. But have you ever been to fucking Buffalo? That's not weather. That's the 7th ring of hell. Buffalo sucks, man.
Yeah, whatever.
KD?
I'm going to tell you the key to this game is going to be the A and B gap for either team. Either team that locks down the A or B gap, that's the team that'll win this game. I think, based off what we have, I think Baltimore can exploit it more than enough when it comes down to what they're doing. I don't see this being a Pittsburgh Steelers versus Baltimore showing. I got this game probably lower scoring than that. Because as it started to get higher scoring, that's where we start to talk about, hey, okay, look, neither of these defenses are playing good. And if neither of these defenses are playing good, then it becomes something that neither team wants, which is a shootout. Um, I got Baltimore winning this game by 5 points.
No, this is such a hard game to pick because you're right. This game is going to be like 17-14, 17-13, that kind of game. I don't think it's going to be a 38-35 game because you're right, KD. These defenses are both too good. Or if that game gets into that kind of shootout, and here's the deal. If it gets a game like that, that means Buffalo is allowing Derrick Henry to run up and down the field, and it's giving Lamar Jackson that opportunity to find wide open receivers, because they're so I'm really interested to see what Buffalo's defensive game plan is going to be on this game. It's funny. I do have to say something because Buffalo Bills fans are all, ugh! But the Bills signed Anthony Brown, the quarterback, to the practice squad, and Buffalo Bills fans are all sitting there like, oh, he's going to give them all this information. No, they signed Anthony Brown to the scout team so that he could mimic some type of Lamar Jackson quarterbacking, at least from a speed standpoint. Not there isn't anybody who can really mimic Lamar Jackson. Not Justin Fields. Not anybody in this league can really mimic what Lamar Jackson does. It's an impossibility. Lamar Jackson is a freak athlete. He's amazing. But Bills Mafia folks are like, oh, he's going to give them game plan. Like, well, no, that's not true because he hasn't played with them for a year. So the game plans are completely different. But, I don't believe Buffalo is going to allow Derrick Henry to take the first handoff and run 89 yards down the field. I don't think that happens. So this game is going to be different. Again, if I'm Buffalo and I win the toss, I want the ball first. I need to put points on the board, and I need to continue to put points on the board because I need Baltimore to have to play from behind and change the complexion of what Baltimore is going to do offensively. If they can't do that and it allows Baltimore to continue into their game plan, it could be a long afternoon or evening for Buffalo.
All right. I just quick before I get off here. Number one, I want to make sure, KD, I was in the restroom while you were picking. I'm assuming you picked Baltimore. Okay. Number two is David won't say wide right. And what David and the rest of Bills Mafia has to understand is that the first step of solving a problem is admitting there is a problem.
Can KD say wide left? I mean, Justin Tucker's done that about 5 times this year.
Well, that's a year, but that's not in a fucking Super Bowl and a goddamn
we're not playing the Super Bowl
game
right now. We're not playing the Super Bowl right now. Now you want to? If Buffalo makes the Super Bowl, Sean, we can have that conversation. But I won't have that conversation because the last time Buffalo played Baltimore, Taron Johnson took it 101 yards to the house. So I'm not going to say wide right in the division round. Yeah, he did. I'm sure he did.
That's not the last time they played Baltimore.
No, the last time they played him in the playoffs.
Okay, that's different.
Yep. No, I said the last time they played Baltimore in the playoffs, Taron Johnson took him 101 yards to the house. No, the last time they played Baltimore, Derrick Henry ran 89 yards on the first play, and game was over. I mean, it was over. But again, I will not say that wide whatever at this point.
Look at it. Look at it.
I reserve the right to come back to that if the circumstances change.
As soon as See, if you guys would just admit it, then the problem goes away. That's it. It's it. It's like, when you're talking to your wife and you're like, honey, I'm sorry, but I have gonorrhea. You admit it and then instantly forgiven and you move on.
I will tell you something, Sean. If it comes down to a 4th down and they're going for that field goal, they will go for it, and Josh Allen will run 30 yards for a touchdown.
That would be awesome.
They will take that. They will take that chance over Tyler Bass.
I would hope so. But anyway, gentlemen, I'm sorry I got to get off here. I got a lot of things going on. You guys can continue to talk and just wind up the show. And again, Katie, happy birthday and best of luck to you.
Hey, is it your birthday today, Sean?
It is my birthday today. That's
well,
why
happy birthday, Sean. I didn't know that.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, didn't you
Marilyn Monroe serenaded me.
Old man Sean. Happy birthday to you.
Nothing for nothing. I really thought that when KD started singing, I thought he was going to have the more Michael Jackson voice. He does have that Barry White thing going on. I thought he was going to start singing and go,
Hold up, time out. You've been hearing me talk for fucking 3 years. Have I ever hit a high pitch?
Listen, just talk low don't mean you sing low. You could come out here and you could like shock the world and you'd be like, happy birthday to. I'd be like, what the hell's that, KD?
I even said last year in the promotional video for who had the best picks, it was KD, the man who's when he driving, his balls are in the passenger seat. So I knew this. Anyway, gentlemen, you guys have a good night. I will talk to you next week, and I will be on for the full duration. I got my roast in the oven, and I got a ton of stuff going on. All right. You guys have a good night.
All right. You have a good one. But, hey, real quick, KD, before we jump on out of here, just got to ask your thoughts. Do you think Pittsburgh moves on from Mike Tomlin, or is he there?
His presser was interesting. His presser, he basically shut the door of him leaving.
Yeah.
So
he said at least don't trade for me.
Right. Well, that kind of let me know it's either here or nothing. And I could see him taking a full year off before he make a decision. Because I know he's not going to go to a builder. And you got to build things up to go here. If he's going to go somewhere, it's going to be, I'm going to go to somewhere where somebody's going to make a dumb mistake. The team is going to be 10-7, make the playoffs, get bounced, and they're going to fire their coach.
Now, I know we talked in the chat, but do you think a place like Dallas would be a good fit for him?
Absolutely. There's an asterisk, though. There's a big asterisk. Jerry Jones got to relinquish one or two roles. He got to either say, hey, go talk to my head coach for X, Y, and Z. When you need to talk to somebody about personnel or whatever, go talk to my head coach. I'm just here to talk to you guys about how we're doing things organizationally. That is it. I'm not talking about no player movement. I'm not talking about no execution. I'm not talking about our matchups. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm talking about organizationally, what are we doing in the community, around the community, for the community, that type of stuff, as an owner should, right? If he's going to either A, relinquish that, or either B, he doesn't relinquish anything and he hires a general manager. And the reason why I say that is because he can't have a say on both of them, whether it be players or coaching staff. When you got a say on both of them, that is where you're going to have issues, right? Because now, if I'm a player and I know you're policing everything, I don't even care about my position coach. I don't care about my head coach because I know you're the guy that controls everything. So who do you think I'm going to cater to? I'm going to cater to the owner. But then guess what? When it comes down to on the field, I'm not ready to go because guess what? I've already got a leg out of the door when it comes down to talking to you because guess what? I know you don't have the true credibility or the rapport within the team to do X, Y, and Z.
Right. And that's my thing. I think that from that standpoint, you bring a guy like a Mike Tomlin in there, they're asking him the questions at a press conference, but he's answering for the owner, not himself, because I'm doing what the owner tells me. I'm doing what, you know what I mean? And that's just not Tomlin's MO. I mean,
Nope.
Tomlin is, this is me, this is how I do it, this is what we do, why we do what we do. And I just don't know if Jerry Jones has the fortitude to relinquish one or both things that he's doing already. To bring a coach in that's going to give the Cowboys, number one, credibility, but number two, the opportunity to succeed.
And the other thing that's interesting to me that Jerry Jones mentioned, he said he bought the team for himself, and his kids are not prepared to step in at any point to because it's not an investment for them. So what you're telling me is, whenever you leave this earth, however you leave it, are the Cowboys going to go up for sale?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, okay, if I'm not sitting there saying, hey, look, I'm trying to slowly groom my son or my daughter or whoever, or my brother or whoever you have family member wise take over the team in my absence. If you're not doing that, what is it going to look like now? Because are we going to have the same thing we had with the Washington Commanders, where they go up for sale and a financial group comes in together and buys the Cowboys? Because now we're talking structurally, everything changed. Everything changes now.
Yeah, no, it's going to definitely be interesting to find out what the Cowboys do. And again, I don't think a Tomlin is going to be traded. I think if it's going to be anything, the Rooneys will have to let him go before he entertains any kind of trade offer. And I just don't know. I don't see the Rooneys necessarily doing that. I think when Tomlin and the Steelers depart, it's going to be a mutual decision where, don't give me an extension. I'll coach this last year. I'll go out on my terms. We'll both save face. You gave me 20 years or whatever in the organization. And so
do not be surprised if he full-fledged and just retires. Do not be surprised. Because I look at it like this. Like I won a Super Bowl, right? The stuff that I've been doing, I've been getting away with it, right? To where I can have 20 seasons plus with no losing seasons. I can go out on that and have that as my legacy, if you will. Mm-hmm. If you come back and you go to a different situation, now we're talking, hey, I'm in some places to where, hey, I got to build some stuff. Now I may have a few losing seasons. Do you want to tarnish your legacy in that manner? That's the question that, if I'm him, I'm asking myself. Like, hey, do I want to go do it somewhere differently?
The way I look at Tomlin, though, is I don't necessarily think he wouldn't be up to that challenge, especially the way that the stagnation in Pittsburgh has been over the last 6 or 7 years, where, I'm good enough to be here, but I'm not good enough to be here. So maybe I want to go out and prove not only to people, but maybe even myself that I can, because I inherited a team that was good from Bill Cowher. I inherited a lot of everything that I've done in my career. I've never had the opportunity to be a builder. I've had the opportunity to be a continuation of somebody else's work. And so maybe somebody needs to see that not only can I continue the work and be where I'm at this way, but I can also go into a franchise and build it in the vision that I want, get the player, you know what I mean? So it's a double-edged sword for him. I mean, he's got that legacy, but there's always going to be that asterisk of, you did get it from Bill. You did have this guy when you came in. You did have that guy when you came in. You didn't go to a team like Carolina that you built up, or Jacksonville or anything like that. So I just don't know Mike Tomlin's mindset other than, the buck stops with me. Whatever happens, I do. It's my decision, my thing, my this, my that. So again, it's a double-edged sword. So it'll be interesting to see one way or the other, for sure. But all right, Katie, you got anything more to add? All right. I'm just going to say good luck to you this weekend. It's going to be a great wild card or a divisional round weekend.
Yes, sir.
That Bills game is going to be great. I don't care who wins, but it's going to be fun.
All right.
All right. So everybody, thank you for sticking around. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next Wednesday. Yeah, I don't have one of those. I just got this. And see, Eric didn't come on, not because he's sick. He was probably sick, but he's probably sick because he had to order a Von Miller jersey and was afraid he was going to have to wear it tonight. Man, that thing lights up. Man, you're going to be needing new batteries after Sunday. That thing going to go out.
Oh no, I don't put I don't turn it on unless I'm in the stadium. So.
All right, folks, y'all be good. We'll talk to you soon.
Y'all.
Everybody be good.